I love that parents choose to put their kids in therapy during divorce. Even if they don't look like they're having a hard time, they probably are in some way. Maybe they're suppressing it. And I see that.
Absolutely.
And then it comes out 5 years later. And then you're like, oh my God, what happened? And he never processed his feelings and emotions.
Right.
So put your kids in therapy if you're going through divorce, just to say, like, just to kind of test it out and see, let that be an outlet for them. But another thing is don't use the therapy as a tool, as a weapon, so that you can use it against your spouse in court. First of all, in our practice, we have a zero tolerance for that. Zero tolerance of saying, okay, well, I want the records for the last, 5 sessions because I want to show my attorney. But no, these children's rights need to be protected. And this needs to be a safe place for them. And if your agenda is to use your child's emotions and feelings and outlet as a tool, as a weapon, you need some self-reflection. You need to look in the mirror, because I will call you out, and I instruct people to call them out. Like, that is a zero tolerance thing. Now, if your child is in danger, having, thoughts of harm, self-harm, anything dangerous, let's say they said, mom's burning me with a cigarette or something like that, of course, we're going to notify you. But if it's just their outlet and letting them express themselves, maybe they hate mom one day and maybe they hate dad the other. You don't need to know that. Right. They're ready to share with you when they feel like it, or when we feel as a therapist, it's the right time to share that. Absolutely. But yeah, that's one thing that I see. We see it all the time in our practice with our therapists, and we just immediately say, no, it's not happening, because it is about that child. And if you want that child to go to therapy, then let them go to therapy. Let that be with the therapist.
Absolutely. And I, of course we know it, but I think that is because we have a lot of people that come in and they don't know. They really don't know. And I know they're hurt and everything. And I know when we onboard some of our new clinicians and stuff, we say, if there's ever anything, I said, we got to really, protect these kids, and they're all hurting, and I said, and that is one thing I know. I say, listen, first and foremost, I said, I will always advocate for your child. I said, you all are adults. You all are grown. They don't really have, I said, but they have me. And I said, you know what? And this is what we're going to do. So, but, and that's why I said, of course we know what we do, but I think that was important, because I think a lot of people, they don't understand.
They don't, And I think too, also that's important when you do have a client who a minor client and their parents are going through a divorce. I'll bring both the parents in also. And I don't share with them what we talk about in session, but like you said, Nella, the things that they need to know, I share with them, such as if one parent is bashing another parent in front of the child and they're having, their emotions are all over the place and they're like a mess in my room. And I'll tell them, I go, look, you guys, I use this example for many of my clients. I go, okay, that's a busy, dangerous highway out there. Like right there, Panita Causeway is very busy. It's almost like one parent is standing where the Wawa is and the other parent is standing on the other side. And you have your kid blindfolded and one parent has their child here and you push that kid out and they run expecting not to get hit, trying to make it over to dad and vice versa. I said, that is what you guys are doing to your kid. You're playing Russian roulette, expecting the bullet not to hit them. And it does every time.
I really like that analogy. That's great.
And they don't realize it. Yep. And one parent, she actually sat in my room and she was like, I never thought about it like that. Yep. I go, that's what happens when you talk about dad in front of him. And when dad talks about him in front of you and he's in here trying to figure out what to do with all of that you guys have put in him. And it's not fair.
No, I like that. That's very true. You are playing Russian roulette with your child doing that. And even those bullets don't hit him, it's grazing him. He's feeling it. He's getting that anxiety from it. Every time you have that curse word about your dad or your mom, they're feeling it. And one thing I want to, reiterate with parents out there is that it's not your job. Not your primary goal is to win an argument with your ex. Your primary goal should be to protect your child's nervous system and to protect your child.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing is if you stay focused on that and focused on your own healing, things will pan out. Things will settle out. Right. Things will eventually be okay. And even if you're dodging the bullets, let yourself dodge the bullets. Okay. If you're dodging these bad things and you're trying to stay calm and you're like, okay, I'm going to go vent to my therapist every week then about it. Go do that. But if you're trying to protect your child and you're putting that child first, everything else will eventually settle down. And you know what? If it looks like, okay, let's say that other person has the money I know that's a big thing. One person has worked, one person has, or one person has all the money.
Yep.
Okay. Let's say your husband wins everything in court because he has, the $50,000 lawyer. Okay. Let him take everything. If he took everything from you, he could never take you as a parent and take your identity. He can't take you. And if someone is that controlling, let's say you are married to someone that's like a narcissist or controlling, has controlling traits. Okay. Then they will never be able to take who you are and who you are as a mom. They won't be able to take that from you. So just remember, what is most important to you? Is it to win an argument? Is it to win in the courtroom? Or is it to win for your child and your child to win?
Absolutely.
Well, and we even know, that's what I say, because I have that situation and they're almost on the other side of it. And I've got the not money side. And that side is, she goes, I've learned so much, and that's what she said. She goes, and that's what I said, do your research, understand. I said, because there are laws, the state of Florida is, everybody talks about that. I'm like, state of Florida has always been one of the greatest states for child advocacy. And they have changed everything. And there's a lot of things that happen, when it started the 80-20, then it was the 40, and then it was, going for the 50-50. Now that's where they start from, the 50-50. So I'm like, okay, what are we really arguing? But I know you get so terrified of, somebody's going to take my children because I was there, I was there because it was not a great situation. And I was a lot of fear, and that's what I was told. And this and that, I didn't understand, and so that's what I said. I said, I never want anybody to ever go through what I did, ever, because it was awful, a year and a half and not knowing anything. And it was just, so terrifying because you're living in this state of confusion, so even with that, trying to make decisions. And so even with that, I kind of even tell I go, but we don't need to make all of these decisions right now. Let's just go back to simple. What are the basic things that we need right now? Let's just go there, because even with that, sometimes it's,
Yeah. And then another thing too about, parenting and, collaborative parenting and co-parenting. And then, everyone kind of knows what that means. Like you're co-parenting, you may not like the person, but you're doing what's right for the kids. Both of you are on the same page. Well, then there's the parallel parenting. And a lot of people are starting to come around of what that means, which is basically if you're dealing with somebody, an ex and the father or the mother, and they are you can't deal with them. You every time everything's a fight and you are done fighting. Let's say you've accepted it and you're done fighting, but that other person is not done fighting. That is when you switch from, okay, you're not going to be able to co-parent with this person, right? Because co-parenting takes two people.
Yep.
Parallel parenting, though, that is when you're going to go this way and you're going to do what your part is. You're not going to have expectations that this parent is going to work with you. So what you do is you let them go in their own direction.
Yep.
And you just keep going your way and they're going to go their way. And that's the expectation. Now, being the bigger person and being the bigger parent, if that switches, let's say they do want to now start to co-parent once they've healed, maybe they've gone to therapy, years go by, time heals, right? You let go of some of that anger, then you can maybe you can't co-parent again. But in the meantime, if you can just parallel parent, you're not attacking the other person, you're not having expectations, you're just allowing yourself to be at peace.
Absolutely.
Do it, because that is key. And I got there. I was able to finally parallel parent because I went through horrible. I can be in the same room as my ex-husband. We could be at the same place. I could talk to him about the kids' needs. No problem. Like I said, what I think of him as a person is different than who he is in my kids' lives. And he is a part of them and it is what it is. And now we can have total conversations and we're okay. And it is what it is. Now we can co-parent, but the parallel parenting is so good for people who are still in that high emotional state.
I agree with that. I like
you.
I just want to say parallel parking.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah, and I've heard of, of course, the
I hadn't even heard that term.
I know
love
parallel
it.
parking.
Perfect.